eine kleine Überraschung für euch, und zwar vorne an der Registratur. Also wenn ihr ein Gold- oder ein VIP-Ticket besitzt, guckt doch bitte mal nach. Zur Registratur, da gibt es nämlich für euch eine Special Surprise.
Jetzt schon.
Ich würde nach der Bänder machen. So, dann geht es jetzt weiter mit dem Mann, wo ich persönlich meine Beichte nicht ablegen würde, zumindest nicht bei der Rolle der Serie, der war, wie gesagt, eine ganz geile Präsenz hat in der Staffel 5. Beginnt seinen Auftritt und ich kann nur sagen, gibt bitte einen ganz herzlichen Applaus für Seth Gilliam! Yeah, you can start tell us maybe some things about your feelings of the show and the first season. So whatever you can tell about what was maybe thrilling for you, what was amazing for you, what was your imagination when you first got on set.
It was pretty exciting to go from not having seen more than maybe 10 minutes of the show 10 days beforehand to actually being on the set in costume on the top of a rock screaming for my life. It's been a thrilling ride. I've been on a bunch of different TV shows, and some of them have been very popular and other ones were very critically acclaimed. But there's nothing quite like the fandom I've encountered between The Walking Dead and the Teen Wolf kind of, supernatural fandoms that happen. It's just, it's really amazing.
And how was the convention until now so far? So did you have
The convention's been pretty cool. People are a little shy. I don't know if it's because I'm really scary.
No.
If it's a language thing, I know that I'm very hesitant to speak any more German than, some choice curses I've learned. Which are really fun to say. Ich dich! Go fuck yourself, right? Say it again. Say it again. There you go. Fick dich, man! So I'm all kinds of things like this. My
That's cool. It's pretty cool. You learn more.
Yes. Guten Morgen. Yes. Good morning. Bitte or bitteschön. Now, what's the difference? One is
bitteschön is much more polite.
Okay.
Bitte is very shortly, and bitteschön is much more polite.
Okay, I thought it was like thank you or just thank.
Yeah, you can say danke or dankeschön. This is thank you and thank you. This is thanks and thank you.
Okay.
Danke,
Danke und Dankeschön.
Oder vielen herzlichen Dank.
Vielen
herzlichen, this comes from your heart. Vielen herzlichen Dank.
Okay, I'm not
vielen
trying
herzlichen Dank.
Yeah.
Just say that, all the girls just melt down.
Oh, really? Is that?
Oh, he's so nice.
Okay. I'll have to work on that.
But it sounds great. It sounds you've been here for weeks.
Oh, I don't know about all that. You're very kind. Thank you. If I were here for weeks, I think I could pick up some more stuff. Yeah. It's not as intimidating as I thought it would be.
But German is a difficult language, so
yes, it is. It is a difficult language. It's uniquely its own. It's good.
We also said der, die, das for him, for her, for it, and you say just the.
Yes.
The table.
Yes.
There's a word.
And you have 3 words for that?
It's der Tisch, das Glas mit Wasser und die Frau dahinter. Der, die, das.
Fräulein is women?
Die is for women. Der is for him.
Okay. I see.
And das is for things that are without life. Not the other people, but just a table, a chair, and a wall.
Right. The fucking things I've learned on this trip. Thank you so much.
We can start with questions if you have one, so just don't be shy, come to the microphone. This is your chance to ask Seth whatever you want to ask him. Now it's just don't be shy.
Yeah, there's one.
The woman we met.
Woman we met.
Dancing with us. Hello? You can pull the microphone down. Yeah, okay.
Is this your first time in Germany?
No, this is my second time in Germany. I was here about maybe 10 or 12 years ago. I'm not sure. It was a very boozy trip. But I was in Mainz and Frankfurt.
And do you like it here so far?
So far, I'm liking it, yeah. I wish the pizza was better. But so far, I'm having a great time, yeah.
And now to The Walking Dead, to your character. Do you like your character personally, or what do you think of him?
I like my character a lot. I try to love every character that I play. Otherwise, what's the point of doing it, really? You know what I mean? So I do like him. I like that he's a survivor, even though he's, you know, a bit of a coward, and, you know, has turned his back on you know, hundreds of his parishioners. He's still a survivor, and I think there's something to be said for that.
And would you like him to be more brave in the future? I haven't seen the second half of the 5th season, but...
Oh, so you missed when I slayed all those walkers by myself. You gotta catch up. Brave, I've been there. You know what I mean? No, I'd like him to continue to be true to himself. You know? And if that means that he's in a situation where he has to be, you know, quote-unquote brave, then, you know, I would hope that he'd be true to himself, because that's the fun of playing. You don't want to go back and forth playing 2 or 3 different people, depending on the week and depending on what people want to see. You know, you try to be as true to the character as you can be, and hope that the writers don't throw huge curveballs.
And another question to another series, Teen Wolf will play Dr. Deaton.
Yes.
And I would like to know if you're on the 5th season also, because I've seen a picture of you and Tyler Posey, and I hope you're going to be in season 5, is it?
Yes, yes. I posted that picture of Tyler Posey and I. I was trying to get more fans. It worked. I figured if ever I take a picture with the, you know, the muscled up beautiful boys of Teen Wolf, I'm going to get some more fans. And yes, I actually will be back on the set in Los Angeles on Thursday, doing the 3rd episode. We're up to the 3rd episode of season 5. Now, there are going to be 22 episodes for Teen Wolf this season.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next question. Yeah, the man from Cologne. Woo!
Hello.
Hello.
I would like to ask how much time do you have to for preparation of the character, or how deep you went to explore the character for yourself, or how much was given to you by a director or producer?
I had about 10 days to prepare, in which time I did a lot of reading of the Bible, of passages that were suggested to me that I thought would be relatable to the character or for what his journey was going to be. I think I said yesterday, I'm a spiritual person, but I'm not a very big believer in organized religion, so I don't go to church as much as some would like me to. But I did find a lot of information that I could use in those passages. And I didn't really get a lot of information from the directors at all. I got information about the character from Scott Gimple, who was the showrunner and one of the producers and head writers of the show, on what his arc was going to be. And from there, he didn't give me a lot of information aside from just the general arc. They don't really do that on The Walking Dead. Actually, they don't really do that on a lot of shows, come to think of it. But in that, and what it says about, when you read a script, you look for what does my character say about himself, what do other people say about my character, what does the writer say about my character. You look for the setting, the date, the timing, and all those kinds of things. So you take all that bit of information, you apply it with a little bit of what you've read from the Bible and what the showrunner tells you, and then you get the script and you just, the rest is imagination.
Thank you. And the second question is, in my impression, the character play more of an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think does it reflect also yourself, or are the most actors you meet more like extroverts, like a more outgoing person?
I think actors come like people in all kinds. You know, I've met and I've worked with very shy, personally introverted actors who, once they're on stage, are very large and seem to be channeling someone else. And I've also worked with people who just want attention all the fucking time. It's so tiring. I don't really. I don't know. I have phases. I keep to myself a lot. I sing to myself a lot. I do a lot of things by myself. So I guess I kind of share a little bit of that with Father Gabriel, though his was forced. His solitude, and mine is, free will and choice. But the rest is really, is trying to be true to what it says about the character. In his responses. Look, are there exclamation points, or are there just periods? Are there lots of pauses? What does that tell you about the rhythm of the way somebody is speaking? And then what does that tell you about the rhythm of the way their mind works and how they're editing themselves before they speak, or whether they don't edit themselves? So that's a lot of information for that question. Thank you.
Thank you.
So next one.
Hi, Seth.
Hello.
I just want to apologize for saying yesterday that Gabriel's character is boring.
You said it about 4 or 5 times.
Yes. What I meant was that you are doing such a great job, because you in person are so different from your character that you're portraying. And I want to thank you, and I hope that the character of Gabriel will be more interesting in the future. I will make that clear.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I took it in stride what you meant, because you were comparing me to the character and yesterday, and I totally understood that. So thank you. But I think it is interesting that you went from saying, no, he's not boring, I just want to be he's not interesting. No, it's cool, man. Thank you. No, thank you. I'm glad. I like to think of it this way, if I get bored with acting, then I'm probably going to just be playing myself, every character you see me do. So when you see this guy, who's supposed to be a doctor, but you recognize as Seth, then Seth's fucking lost it, he should get out of the business. For me it's all about trying to be as many different people as possible, because that's the fun of it. And some of them are quieter, more introverted, and not as dynamic or not as exciting as others. But it's still exciting to try to play those things and still make him somebody that you either, excites you or frustrates you, that you get a response from, So I got a response from you with the frustration of, let this fucking guy do something. That means that I'm doing my job with that character. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And the next one, please. Who wants to ask a question? Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Do you have any special skills which would make you helpful in a zombie apocalypse? You as Seth, not as Gabriel.
Me as Seth, special skills. All of my special skills are entertainment related. I could distract some zombies with a little tap shoe dance number while people got away. But I think being able to do like different dialects and laugh and cry on cue and everything is not going to be very helpful in a zombie apocalypse. And aside from things that I do for joy, I don't really have that much skill at it. I started doing a little archery this past summer, which I'm good at, but I'm not so crazy about it that I want to do it enough to have it make it a skill. So I would get 1 or 2 zombies, or 1 out of every 5, and that's not a good, ratio for survival, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
And the next one. Okay.
Hello.
I have a question. I'm also a big fan of The Wire, where you
Yes.
have also been part of, and we also realized that most of, or some of the cast which have been in The Wire is also in the show The Walking Dead. So the question would be, is there some, let's say, kind of relation in between, let's say, the producers or maybe the other, let's say, guys in the team, so that these kind of connections are there?
The main one is that Robert Kirkman, who created The Walking Dead, he has two other writing partners, and he's the lead artist on it, and also one of the writers, of course, on the TV show, and producers on the TV show. He was a huge fan of The Wire, and also Scott Gimple, who I mentioned before, who was the showrunner and the main producer. They're huge fans of The Wire and fans of David Simon. So they watched the show all the time, and apparently they tried to get other people to watch it when it was on the air. Not a lot of people watched The Wire when it was on the air in America. A lot of people watch it on Netflix or Amazon or, HBO Go. They taped it, or DVDs. But those guys were watching it when it was on TV, promising themselves that, if they ever had, and not knowing each other at that time, separately, that if they had their things, they would, want to hire people from The Wire. So we were fortunate in that way, that they both wound up working on the same project together and had the same kind of love for The Wire and the same kind of interest in hiring those people, working with those people.
So, for example, there was Chet Coleman, who was in the series. Is there more people to come, maybe
from The Wire? I don't know. I don't know. The Wire had a very large cast, and it depends on how long, I guess, The Walking Dead will run. But I don't see why not. I mean, they seem to love the show and all the people on it, so I guess, it could happen.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, you're welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you have any kind of role you would like to play that you haven't played yet?
Yes. I would like to play a deranged killer. I would like to play a psychopathic, homicidal, no holds barred, kill his parents, eat his children, killer. Want to hire me? That's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, I've done lots of different roles, and I've been very fortunate to play lots of different kinds of people, but I haven't really played anyone who has no moral fiber,
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi. You mentioned that you prepared for your role by reading the Bible and thinking about it, but did you also read all the comics before? Or
No, I didn't read the comics because I knew that there were crossovers between the characters and the storylines from the comics and the TV shows, and I wanted to keep them very separate in my mind. I read the one issue where Father Gabriel comes in, where he steps out of the woods and asks people if they'd like to talk about God. Right in the middle of nowhere, and then there's a priest. Go figure. So I figure I'll read the comics at a separate time when I've got nothing but time to devote to just that, because I think they're two separate journeys. You know what I mean?
they're different.
Yes, and I don't want to cross them over, and I don't want one to negatively inform or impact my performance.
Thank you. Another question: can you share your favorite behind-the-scenes story, which you have seen?
Favorite behind-the-scenes story?
Something funny.
Yeah. I'm not so great with the stories because there was the time that that Andrew Lincoln punched Norman Reedus in the face, but I think they were drunk.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because it was like 12 noon and we were shooting, so it was kind of interesting that they would be so rip-roaring drunk in the middle of the fucking day. But that's the way they roll, I guess. No, I don't really have that many stories because I keep to myself a lot on the set, because the character is kind of separate, you know what I mean? So I don't engage as much behind the scenes, you know, as I would have if I wasn't such a solitary figure who was so untrustworthy to them. So I try to, as the actor, remain as distant as I can in between, so that they aren't quite sure what choices I'm going to make when we start rolling, because that gives the same kind of thing of not being sure and untrustworthy. And I just think it's helpful to the working environment. So unfortunately, I don't have a lot of great stories. I mean, I wish I did. I could make some shit up. Probably should.
No, not necessary.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. And the next one.
Okay, I would like to ask, what is more challenging for you, like the bodily aspect of acting, like crouching or behaving like a character, or more acting with your voice to portray someone?
I guess, yeah, I guess what would be more challenging, to use that word, would be, I think when you're saying vocally, you're talking about it emotionally. What's more challenging?
Like, as Gabriel, it seemed like you also have a special posture.
Yes.
Like more devote, not that strong person or outgoing person.
Yes.
Like, is it more to portray, easier to portray someone with your posture, or to be more humble in your voice?
Yeah. I think for me, I like to work from the inside out. So I go from the emotional life of the character and see how that affects the physical being that I want to portray. Some actors go the other way. You know, they're like, oh, I'm not really sure what's going on with this guy, but I imagine him with, you know, a bit of, you know, a hook hand because he had a stroke before. I know that he's got a stroke, so I'll work from that, and that will help to get me into the, you know, the emotional and psychological stuff. I like to go the other way around. I like to figure out what's going on with this person, you know, emotionally and psychologically, and if I can understand that, then it will inform how my body reacts. And then when I understand that, I'm not going to be, you know, heart exposed, chest open person because I'm, you know, strong up here. So it's not going to be this kind of bring it on stance. You know what I mean? It's going to be something that's far more protective and insular. So yeah, I work from the inside out. But it's just as effective for people to work from the outside in.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. And the next one, please.
Hello.
Hello.
You also did theater before, right?
Yes.
And what do you prefer, acting on stage with a direct reaction of the fans, or doing a TV show?
I prefer acting on the stage about 100 to 1 to working on a TV show. Acting-wise, there's no bigger thrill or rush than the connection that you have with a live audience and the contract that you make with them and that they make with you. People come to the theater because they want to go away somewhere. They want to see a different kind of life, a little bit of a story of someone else's, or a story that's similar to their own. But they go knowing that someone is pretending to do it. So that contract is kind of magical and childlike to me. It's like when children just play without asking questions about it. I think going to the theater is very much that kind of experience for me. So So it's a rush, you know, whether you're going to hit the moment that you worked out in rehearsal or not, you know, and if you miss it, fuck, you got to wait until tomorrow to try it again. Whereas on TV, if you miss it, you can try it again instantly, you can try it again instantly. And there are far less people that you have to deal with working on a theater piece in the rehearsal rooms, and then when you actually perform it, than you do on a TV show or a film where there's so many moving parts that may affect or interrupt your performance. Oh, the light wasn't right, the sound was a little off, can we do it again? But that was, you know, you were feeling the best. But when you're on stage in the theater, you have control, the ultimate control, the actor does, of those moments. And it's up to you whether you can and you do hit them or not. And that's exciting beyond any other kind of acting to me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. And the next one, please.
Hi, this goes a bit in the same direction. So when and how did you decide to become an actor?
I was in grade school. I was maybe in the 3rd grade. I wanted to